you see Jimmy Kimmel? He was crying. It's just, what? Hey, it is your commissioner, John David Brake, fair and balanced, coming to you live in the LEG studios. Thanks for that. Welcome. It's week 11. Can you believe it? The playoffs are starting to form. We have people jockeying for position. Before we get into last week's scores, let's look at the current standings and see who's in the mix, who's in the hunt, and unfortunately, who's in Hoffa territory. There you see at the very tippy top of the list is your commissioner at 8-2. Dominating the league, but look right behind him. Austin Stoll has been on his tail pretty much the entire season. So it looks like these two are the juggernauts fighting it out for first and second place, but we've got a whole cluster of 6 and 4 teams. Dan, Jabell, Joe, Adam Barris now dropped to 6th place. All in the top 6, all jockeying for playoff positions. And these 3 teams are in the hunt. Defending champion Dave Plow at 4-6, Abby at 4-6, and his brother Anu at 4-6. And technically still not out of it. We have 3 teams at the very bottom going 3-7 that are still technically alive. So let's look at some of the scores last week, and there was none bigger than another 200-point performance. Pukamon gets some retribution for last week's championship rematch. Jalen Hurts, 33 points. Look at that. No Derrick Henry or Saquon on that list for Pukamon. And Patrick Mahomes kind of had an okay game. Plow loses 202 to 153. Adam Barris, the big upset by Abalash Reddy. Joe Burrow with a nice 45 points there, overcoming James Conner and Travis Kelce, having a good game. And look, Alex Pierce made the list with 19 points. Don't get used to that now that AR is back at quarterback. Clock Gobblers, man, get another devastating loss, and that's going to happen when Jamar Chase scores 64 points. And Jabell needed all of that because he did not get much production anywhere else. CD Lamb is now in trouble since Dak is gone. So here's a big win for Dan Nickel, getting the dub, 172 to 148 over Mick. Boom, there's the flavor. Look at that. His defense and kicker scored 92 of his 172 points. Unbelievable. Brock Purdy had a good game, but not enough. And the Dak Street Boys, like I mentioned, in second place, 155 to 99. It's not a good sign, Shookster, when Jeremy Chin is your leading point scorer there at 15. And, of course, possible MVP Lamar Jackson with 45 points. Bijan Robinson with another solid performance. And Joe picks up a much-needed win over Anu Roger Goodell, 145 to 127. Solid production across the board, pretty consistent. Cortland Sutton with 19 points leading the way. Unfortunately for Anu, Drake London and Tyler Bass were his 2 top-scoring teams. And there you have it. Now let's talk about some historic things going on there. As you see, Pukamon's got to catch them all. Another win, another 200-point performance. Leads the league in points and on pace to catch Austin Stoll's 2021 season, where he scored more points than any other team in league history. We are looking at some very interesting times there. You see Dan in third place for all-time highest scoring single season records there. So who knows, we might have another record-breaking year here in 2024. Okay, let's cut the crap. Let's go to the rematch, or let's go to the matches here for week 11. Since, it's been a slow news week, nothing really going on this last couple of weeks, just time to focus on fantasy football, get the matchups here. So let's go to the first one, the aforementioned Pukamon's got to catch them all, taking on Anu Roger Goodell, who desperately needs a win, who's in 9th place, taking on myself at a very bad time where all cylinders are firing. Yahoo has me projected to win, and mainly it comes down again. Can you overcome the big fours? We look at the lineup here. Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And again, Amon-Ra St. Brown is very solid, but he's not like putting up Jamar Chase numbers. This is the huge bright spot here after Chris Godwin went down. George Pickens has picked up where Godwin left off when he was the second overall receiver there clicking with Russell Wilson. That should be a great game against Baltimore. And another bright spot is in the flex. Chase Brown has officially taken over the lead spot in Cincinnati, getting the most carries, the most touches, receptions out of the backfield. A very, very nice flex option. And a little sneaky thing, too. It's not on this sheet, but picking up Olakun coming off the IR was a very, very big get for the defense. Let's see if Anu has a chance. According to Yahoo, only scoring 130 points this week. A lot of that is due to him still rolling with Caleb Williams for some reason, who looks like an absolute dumpster fire. Trevor Lawrence might not even play. That's his backup option. Talk to me, Anu. I'll trade you Baker Mayfield for something nice, even though he already denied me 3 times. Drake London is still a solid player for him. Now, right now, I put in Malik Neighbors there is at a 0. He's on bye, but he's going to put in DeAndre Hopkins, who's probably going to be projected to score 12 points around there. His running backs, a little bit of trouble. Breece Hall, what's going on with the Jets? Luckily, they're playing the Colts this week. Aaron Jones doing his thing, getting hurt, going out, coming back in, and then might miss 3 weeks. We don't know. That's up in the air against Tennessee. Dalton Schultz, again, I don't like that matchup against Dallas, especially with Brock Bowers on Pukamon. I do like his flex spot. Devin Achane, I think, is going to rebound. He got locked up last week, but I think he's going to go crazy against the Las Vegas Raiders. I just don't think it's enough. I am taking myself yet again, and this is a really big spot for Anu because he needs to win to stay in the hunt. Unfortunately, he's going up against the 200-point buzzsaw that is Pukamon. Got to catch it all. All right, let's go to the next matchup. This is a very pivotal matchup. The game of the week. Dan Nickel at 6-4 in third place versus second place 7-3 Austin Stoll going head-to-head. The projection right now is literally by tenths of a point. Yahoo is projecting a 147.15 to a 147.4 in favor of Austin Stoll. This is going to be the game of the week. Let's look at the rosters. Let's first check out Dan Nickel's roster there. And as you can see, Matt Stafford is getting the nod thanks to Dak Prescott being out, so he picked up some QBs on free agency. Depending on him going against New England, they might run a lot there against New England. We shall see. Boy, Tyreek Hill, what is going on here? Now he's hurt. He didn't practice because of a wrist injury. He's all over the place, man. Even though Tua's back, he's put up double-digit performances, but not Tyreek Hill-like numbers. He's projected to get 12 points, and I don't think he'll score more than that. Just the way things are going. Cedric Tillman there, that's a nice free agency pickup, as it looks like he's the man in Cleveland, but again, it's Cleveland. He is going up against New Orleans. We shall see. It is indoors. Now, I do like his running backs. This is going to be a battle of the running backs. It's going to come down to David Montgomery and Kyron Williams for Dan. Will they go over their projected total? He's going to need it. He's going to need David Montgomery against Jacksonville. Again, a game where him and Jahmyr Gibbs have a smash spot, who will probably both get a lot of points in this game. No need to go to the air for Jared Goff, especially throwing 5 interceptions last week. And Kyron Williams against New England, another game where he should be running on the ground a lot. His tight end, TJ Hawkinson, made his return and made an impact in Week 10 against Jacksonville, putting up 15 points. That could be very sneaky and very beneficial for Sam Darnold there in Minnesota. And DK Metcalf, he is a full participant. He is back. He is healthy after missing a couple weeks going into the bye. I do like that flex option there against the 49ers. Now let's go over to Austin Stoll's roster here, and he is riding with Lamar Jackson, who continues to show why he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, especially from a fantasy football perspective. 25 points projected going against Pittsburgh. I think he's going to get another 40-point performance. I mean, he's done that multiple times this year, and there's no reason why he won't do it against Pittsburgh, and I think a lot of that's going to be on the ground. His wide receivers, though, this is what I don't like. Both teams really kind of hurting in the wide receiver department. Tank Dell and Juwan Jennings, again, those aren't the big names that you're used to hearing, but because of injuries, they are getting more targets, more lion's share of fantasy points there on their respective teams. That's going to be an interesting game against a Dakless Dallas. Juwan Jennings, though, against Seattle, That looks to be a good spot for him. He did have 16 points last week against Tampa Bay. And again, Brandon Ayuk is out for the season. So he's essentially the number 2 behind Deebo. Running backs here. Again, it's coming down to the running backs. Bijan Robinson, my goodness, is he having himself a year. A top 5 running back who's finally showing what he can do. Thanks for getting Arthur Smith out of there. He is producing. And Kenneth Walker, Skywalker III, it's really... He's kind of hit or miss, just a few games. He's healthy, though, and he's going up against the San Francisco 49ers, projected to score at least 15 points. And I like him right around there, 15 to 16. So, again, you've got like 30 points between those two and 30 points between Dan's 2 running backs. That's what it's going to come down to. The tight end, too, Mark Andrews, who had a nice game last week, scoring 18 points against the Cincinnati Bengals in that shootout. I like him. Him and TJ might cancel each other out. In the flex, Tony Pollard is an okay play. I prefer DK Metcalf in that spot on Dan's side as opposed to Tony Pollard, who had a tough time running against the Chargers last week, only scoring 10 points. Whew, this is a tough one to pick. I think it comes down to the quarterback, too. I'm going to give the edge to Austin. I think Austin is going to win this game. It's really a toss-up. But I just see Lamar Jackson putting up another 40-point game and getting him the win and keeping him in second place as long as I win my game. Speaking of not winning games, John Dahlgren's Clock Gobblers are taking on Nick Shook's Field of Gold. 3-7 teams both need to win from here on out to stay alive in playoff contention. Yahoo is obviously projecting Dahlgren to win this week. But we got some issues on the roster. Let's check out Dahlgren's roster. Well, first of all, Aaron Rodgers there going up against the Colts. Will that kind of be a game where he can get back on track? We'll see. I don't know. He looks washed. CeeDee Lamb, this is huge with no Dak. CeeDee Lamb's got Cooper Rush, and his value immediately plummets. I mean, he goes from his 16 points the week previous down to 8. So this is not good news for CeeDee Lamb owners. As he's projected to score 14, he will be lucky to score double digits against Houston. Hopefully Cooper Rush will figure it out. So John Dahlgren stacking Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers, doing a little throwback here. Devontae Adams only single digit games 3 out of the last 4 weeks. He did have that 22-point game against Houston. Luckily for him, he's going up against the Colts, so this is definitely a smash spot for Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers to stack those. Let's look at the running backs. I mean, again, it's like 2018 all over again. It's DeAndre Swift and Kareem Hunt getting the nod there. Kareem Hunt's been a big surprise, but Isaiah Pacheco has been activated from injured reserve, so Kareem Hunt's value is going to plummet. We'll see if they ease Pacheco in or if they give Kareem Hunt the same amount of touches as they have been the last few weeks. DeAndre Swift, this is a good play against Green Bay. I like to see him score at least 15 points. George Kittle, another good spot. Now, he's always banged up, always questionable, still dealing with some injuries, but they're not really concerned. And despite him not practicing, I look for that to be a smash spot again for Dahlgren. Oh, boy. And then in the flex, another wide receiver suffering from poor QB play, Josh Downs. He's projected to score 12 points. That ain't happening. It's Anthony Richardson. He can't hit the broadside of a barn, it looks like. I really hope him getting benched kind of changes things. We'll see. I wouldn't hold my breath. That is the best running or wide receiver in Indianapolis over Michael Pittman by far. And Pittman is banged up as well with some back issues. Let's go over to Nick Shook's team, who actually might have a chance to pull this off. C.J. Stroud is looking healthier. He's going up against the Dallas Cowboys there. Justin Jefferson, a solid play, who's just been QB-proof no matter who's throwing the ball. Xavier Worthy, I do not like this play. Xavier Worthy has been garbage the last week. 1 point the last 2 weeks. He got you a -1 against Tampa Bay. He's kind of being phased out. I guess DeAndre Hopkins kind of getting more attention there. I don't think he's going to score 8 points. Najee Harris, though, I do like this play. Even though Najee's got some ankle issues, he hasn't been practicing. I don't think it's anything to panic about. But Jaylen Warren might get a little bit more touches there. Khalil Herbert, oh my gosh, what is with the running backs here show up. Come on, man. Khalil Herbert, who is, again, Zach Moss is out, and Chase Brown is the lead back, so he's starting a RB2 who's probably not going to get a lot of touches. That's just an old Bears love for him. Evan Ingram, I do like this play against Detroit for Jacksonville. It's going to really depend if Trevor Lawrence is a QB or not. And he's going double tight end again. Shinseki, come on, man. You have a chance to win this week with Dahlgren's issues, and then we've got this. You better hope Jeremy Chin scores 20 points. I don't think it's going to happen. I am taking Dahlgren to get the win and to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Oh, speaking of staying alive in the playoff hunt, last place. That's right. I don't think I've ever seen Mick in last place this long. Boom, there's the flavor taking on Joe Murdoch's 6-4 Insane Ground Posse. This is also a must-win game for Mick. Yahoo is projecting a big win for Joe, and for good reason. Mick has just been struggling all year with injuries, going all in on the Cardinals, and he's not even starting Kyler Murray anymore. He is rocking it with Brock Purdy, which is a better play. I do like his Garrett Wilson play there against the Colts. Will Devontae Adams eat into that? We shall see. However, it ends there. Jalen Waddle has not been great. Austin Eckler, because Brian Thomas or Brian Johnson, or I forget his name, has been hurt. But he's going to play. That's what I've been hearing, as that he's going to play. So Austin Eckler's going to go back to the secondary role. And Raheem Mostert, 5 points last 2 weeks. Not great. There's a lot of mouths to feed in that backfield. Jalen Wright is starting to eat up some more carries for both him and Devin Achane. Now, Will Dissly, that was a good play. The Chargers tight end, kind of falling off after that Week 7 performance against the Cardinals. But again, McBride's on bye, so Mick's kind of in trouble here. And in the flex, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I would love this play, except DK is back, and he'll be lucky to get that 12 projected points. Now let's go over to Joe Murdoch's team. Again, Josh Allen, great game last week against the Colts. Who doesn't? He is going up against his foe, the Kansas City Chiefs, and he always shows up big against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I don't think that's going to change. I'm seeing Josh Allen putting up Lamar Jackson-like numbers this week, at least 40-some points against it. You know what? I'm taking the Bills to beat the Chiefs, by the way. Bet on it. Taking the Bills to beat the Chiefs. Finally give them their first loss of the season. It is in Buffalo. Let's look at also Deebo Samuel, the number 1 receiver in San Francisco, going against Seattle. That's a great spot there. Cortland Sutton was a nice surprise last week. Bo Nix is looking to be like something. And then the running backs alone, I mean, Kamara and Taylor, again, give way more of an advantage to Joe. And, I mean, even just looking at the roster, we don't care. Like, Josh Jacobs is a great flex play. He's a little banged up. He's got a quad issue. He's going to be kind of on that RB1, RB2 border against a struggling Bears team. But, again, this is going to be Joe. Yahoo predicts Joe. I'm taking Joe to win this week. All right, Purdy, Little Liars, Abalash Ready taking on Jabell Soul, who had an amazing game from Jamar Chase last week. Very unlikely he's going to have another historic all-time top 10 fantasy performance. However, Yahoo has Abalash winning this week. That's right. Purdy Little Liars is projected to win, and looking at the roster, Joe Burrow has a lot to do with that 134 projection. He is back into full swing. He's healthy. He's tossing the skin around and throwing tutties. And T. Higgins, if he comes back this week, that even elevates his points even more. A.J. Brown, tonight's game, the Thursday night game, that looks like to be a smash spot for him. Puka Nacua, what's going on there? Are the Rams back? I don't know. I mean, he did score 19 points last week, so I look for that to be a good play against New England. But how much, again, will they be relying on the run game? Because it is the Patriots, and they're not good. I do love the Joe Mixon spot against Dallas. I just think Houston is just going to smash them. The Cowboys are an utter free fall and just a total dumpster fire. Algier there is not a bad. That's a sneaky start there at the RB2. Bijan Robinson, though, is obviously the lead dog, but every once in a while he gets double-digit performances. I mean, he's really only done it twice this season. He's been in the single-digit category. He'll probably get right around that 6 to 7 points there. Cole Kmet in the tight end, not a big fan of that spot. And again, Alex Pierce at the wide receiver, tight end, flex spot, not a good play because, again, Anthony Richardson is the QB in Indianapolis. However, when AR was in there, 23 and 17 the first 2 weeks. He was his favorite long ball target because that's all he can do is throw long balls, nothing but home runs. All right, let's go over to Jabell's roster. Jaden Daniels, who's been banged up recently, he's got that big Thursday night spot against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's going to have a good game as well. Coming off that 8-point performance against the Steelers. Philadelphia's, a really good defense against the quarterback. They're 29th, I think, in points allowed for the quarterback position. But again, it's all about Ja'Marr Chase. This is his bread and butter. The overall number one wide receiver in all of fantasy football. He's going against the Chargers, and the Chargers have a pretty decent pass defense. Nothing to blink an eye at, but 64 points not happening this week. But I looked at least 20 to 25 for Ja'Marr Chase. Same with Devontae Smith. He's got a big spot against Washington. I think he puts around 15 points for him. Ramondre Stevenson, that's also a good play against the Rams. The Rams, kind of in the middle there as far as giving points to the running back. I think he can at least get him 15 points. Tyrone Tracy is still starting at the RB2 position, so that's a big 0. I assume he's probably going to put Travis Etienne in there since everybody else is on bye. So, just looking there in the tight end spot, I like Laporta there against Jacksonville. And Khalil Shakir in the flex. That is a great flex play. Now, Yahoo has Abalash winning 134 to 122, but I think Jaden Daniels has a good game, and I like that flex of Khalil Shakir against the Chiefs. And then you've got the Colts wide receiver issues. I'm taking Jabell this week. So this is technically an upset play. As Yahoo is projecting them to win, I'm taking Jabell to win this one. Now let's go to the last matchup. Defending champs are just coming off a big loss, 4-6. Rakibich is taking on Adam Barris, is surprising 6-4, working from Mahomes, who had a tough loss last week. He looks to rebound against the defending champ. Now, it all is depending on what happens this Sunday at the 4 o'clock game for the Chiefs versus the Bills. I think finally Plow will get that vintage Patrick Mahomes performance. I think this is going to be a shootout between him and Josh Allen. He's projected to score 19. I bet he gets to 30. Scary Terry, a great play. Cooper Kupp, a great play. Both guys will get around that 15-point projection easily. So you've got about 30 to 40 points there out of the wide receiver spot. Cook, I'm a little concerned about in Kansas City. How often will they rely on him, especially with Ray Davis taking some snaps? But, he's done a very solid job this season. Jahmyr Gibbs, that's a smash spot against the Jacksonville Jaguars. A great play. I do like the running backs for Plow, even though Cook's kind of a toss-up. And Dallas Goedert for the Philadelphia Eagles against the Redskins. Again, that should be a shootout on the Thursday night game. So I do like that. Again, Adam Barris is projected to win this one, and let's find out why. He's projected to win 153 to 146. Jordan Love, that is being stacked. No, he's not stacking him anymore with he is. The stack with Jaden Reed going up against the Bears. I think they're going to destroy the Bears. Will they rely on the run game as much because they'll get up early? We'll see. That depends. Zay Flowers, still the number one receiver. However, reports are coming out of Baltimore that they are going to ramp up Deontay Johnson's involvement. So what is that going to do? I don't really think that matters this week against Pittsburgh. And look who's back. Christian McCaffrey. As he's, he's kind of healthy. 21 points projected. I think that's the highest projected running back score this week. And I look for that to be absolutely right around there, 20 to 25 points against Seattle as they kind of ease him back into that full-time Christian McCaffrey role. I don't like the Madison play in Las Vegas. It hasn't done well the last couple of weeks. He got a nice little streak there But Miami, they locked up Kyron Williams. They did a pretty good job against him. And Travis Kelce, though. Travis Kelce is more involved in the offense, and this is the big shootout week with the Bills and Chiefs. So I look for him to at least get to the 20-point mark. And Jacoby Myers, I don't know why he's projected to score 12 points. I don't see that happening. I mean, again, he did have a good game going into the bye. But Miami is not a defense to reckon with, or is a defense to reckon with. So I like that flex play over the Lad McConkey one because he is the man over there now that Devontae Adams isn't there. I don't know. I kind of think Plow's going to win this one. Even though Adam Barris is projected to win, I am taking Plow to win this week. I hate doing that to get him still in the hunt. Adam is still in the hunt as well with a winning record. So a very pivotal week here as the week is already, I mean, we're almost wrapping up the league here. We're week 11. There's only 14, 15 weeks of fantasy football, I think. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to post any comments on how awesome your commissioner is. That always helps. And smash that like button, if you will. And good luck to everyone out there in fantasy football land. Godspeed from the commish, John David Brake.